Welcome back to the walk along, everybody. I'm in a field, just breathing in that lovely Yorkshire air, everybody. Leeds United are Premier League. Let me say that again, Leeds United Premier League. Come on a walk with me. Were we all a little bit excited when we're watching Sheffield United last night? And there's no anxiety. There's no crippling worry about Gus Hammer getting the ball and pinging it into the top corner from 25 yards. There's no worry about Ty Campbell just bobbling one in off his shin pad. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. It is a very worry-free watch. And it was excellent last night. I was watching that whilst watching the new Danny Dyer film, which was interesting. Marching Powder. Wouldn't recommend. But we're back here talking about Mr. Hammer. We're back here talking about Decore. We're back here talking about a goalkeeper. We're talking about Parag, Farke, the situation. We're going to be speaking about Leeds' financial predicament that we're in. Not really a predicament, a position. And we're going to be speaking about loans. And as I've just mentioned, a little bit more on the goalkeepers. So, yesterday we did a video. You guys absolutely loved it. It was amazing. Just another walk along. As I say, look at this field. For all you Aussies, Kiwis, Americans, Canadians, do you get this? Look at that. What a field. What a field we've got here. This is just such a typical Yorkshire scene. Do you know what I mean? A typical Yorkshire, just a field. A field. Farmland, love it, absolutely love it. But anyway, delirious Connor, still tired. So listen, we heard Daniel Farke's press conference yesterday, which was highly impressive. I have to mention this. The whole season we've been speaking about Mr. Farke being in the grey area on the channel. Not Farke out, not Farke in, Farke grey. Grey Farke. In that area of which it's based on a meritocracy. As I judge a lot of the players when it comes to Aronson, when it comes to Dan James, when it comes to Firpo, when it comes to some of my favourites as well, like you guys coin a lot of the time as well, when it comes to Ramazani, Nonto, Tanaka, you know, these players in particular, is based on a meritocracy, and it was that for the manager. I wasn't a fan, and we mentioned this on the 2-hour stream that we did the other day of the news coming out by Keegan, and then by John Percy of The Telegraph, that Leeds United were considering other options 2 days after promotion. Now, come on now, these could be false. I'm not 100% sure they're completely false because we know Mike Keegan is very much a mouthpiece for the 49ers. I could be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times before. We all know this. And I just wonder if it's there anyway. You know, it's there just as a little bit of a, I don't know, would it be a warning? Would it be a preempt? I'm not sure what it would be, but I don't think it's completely false news. But listen, what we heard yesterday was an excellent press conference from Mr. Farke. He mentioned a trusting relationship with Prague, which we said on the stream he's got the other day. That's why it was so surprising. The news had just come out. Clear budget, early signing, squad competitiveness. And he said he isn't surprised by the news coming out, the noise, which I thought it was quite good how he spoke of that, to be honest. He mentioned it and he didn't almost like snigger at it. He didn't like laugh it off. He says, look, I understand. You know, effectively, I'm at a massive club. And do you know what he did say, which did perk my interest a little bit? He mentioned Graham Potter. And he said the time when he came up against him effectively against Swansea, I believe it was, and the time coming up against him for Brighton with his Norwich side, he won one, he lost the other. And why was that? Better players. So that kind of struck a chord with me. And I thought, I wonder if that is the conversation in the boardroom. And I'm sure it is. Look, you give me better players and I will deliver. Is it a risk? And I think Farke, they'll be having these conversations, or they might not be, but at least in the boardroom, there'll be a conversation. Is it a risk going with Daniel Farke? They're not stupid. They're astute businessmen who have earned millions and probably billions of pounds. There'll be a conversation. They'll know it's a little bit of a risk. But on the other side of it, has he ever been backed? This is what we were saying in the stream yesterday, the other day, I should say. The 2-hour stream. We can call for Farke out, or people can call for Farke out, but he hasn't been backed. But, do I have reservations about the manager? Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm not going to double down on that. I'm not going to, is that the phrase, double down on it? I'm not going to go against that. Let's just go with that. I'm not going to go against that. Of course, you know, I think all of us maybe have a little bit of worry of how this is going to go. I know there's the Farke backers to the hill, and I think that's fantastic. Actually, I think, you know, faith and hope, and not shrouded by any form of critical thought is, I'd rather be that, to be honest. It's a much happier life in your head, I assume. But listen, it's yeah, it feels like they've just got to back him now. You know, they back the horse. I don't want to see any more of this absolute poppycock, you know, leakages of this, that and the other. You know, if Mike's going to leak something else in the summer, you know, I just hope there's a bit of a plug on it. It's been a tumultuous couple of days, which it shouldn't have been after promotion. It's a bit annoying that it was released as well. So yeah, my goodness, but we'll just park that anyway. And look, it's based on a meritocracy. The grey area has always sort of enabled me to come on here and say, look, I'm not 100% sure about him. However, he's earned it, and they've just got to back him now. Get rid of all these stories, because we wouldn't have been talking about this week anyway. And let's move on to transfers. Okay, Leeds' financial position, very, very strong. Why? Because Leeds obviously are in a very good position when it comes to their accounts. The money that we've brought in over the past year has been really good. The registered accounts that were released this year are obviously not taken into consideration for next year. So that's something to keep an eye on as well, with the money that Leeds have earned. And obviously us going up to the Premier League, absolutely huge. And are we going to sell players on? Is there going to be some of those where we can acquire more of a transfer budget? Potentially. So keep an eye on that one. Gus Hammer has been just in my thoughts. He's in my head. Why is he in my head? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I saw something yesterday where I was pretty stunned. He's attempted more through balls, I think there's been successful through balls as well, 27, than Lamine Yamal. Now, should we go in for Gus Hammer if Sheffield United are not promoted? I've mentioned multiple times about his discipline, multiple times about his injury record, but by God, he's a good player, isn't he? Would you play him off the left? No. Play him centrally. I think that's where Wilder's maybe got it wrong, but there is adaptation there, isn't there? There's versatility. He can play on that left, which, if anything, is a good little marker, an excellent little marker, and something which we can tick off if he's needed out there. But I do like Gus Hammer, I do, and I wonder if, you know, worst case scenario, we were to get relegated, he could come up with us and then go down with us. But I don't think that will happen. But let us know in the comment section. But if Sheffield United aren't promoted, who would you go for out of that side? I think there's going to be a lot of players being sniffed at. I think there's a lot of people who've spoken about Joe Bellingham at Sunderland. I think that's excellent, but I think he'll be in high demand. Maybe even a little cheeky look at Dan Neil as well, who's excellent. But let me know in the comment section below. Leeds apparently want Angus Gunn. That's probably the main news headline this morning. Not sure on that one. I am hedging all of my bets on either Aaron Ramsdale or Sam Johnston. But as of, what date are we on now? And I mentioned it yesterday, didn't we? No, not end workout. Hold on. There's the chins. Trying to figure, oh, for goodness sake, watch. Right. Saturday the 26th. I'm hedging my minimal bets from the minimal funds I have on Sam Johnston. I think Leeds will go and get him. Solid, bit of experience, Premier League experience. I wouldn't be blown away by it, but I think they'll go for him. It's just a little feeling I have. Decore, Rory Smith of The Athletic has mentioned that Decore should link up with Leeds United. Now, I don't mind this. He's an explosive central midfielder, got lots of Premier League experience, obviously played for Everton for a while now, and because of that, he's on a very, very decent packet. That's something that Leeds are going to have to keep an eye on, obviously. But I don't think it'd be a bad addition whatsoever. Explosive through that central area, and it is an upgrade on what we have right now. Let me know what you would do. Would you go in for Decore? Joe Gellart has expressed his want for first team minutes, his want to play regular football, and I love that for Joffy. He's gone out and he's actually got it right. You know, he's got it right. They found a position for him at Hull. They struggled at Sunderland with him, didn't they? I think it was, to be fair, him leading the line without a fully fit Ross Stewart, which killed Gellart really at Sunderland. But he's had a successful loan period now. I'm really happy for him. And if Leeds can get a good fee for him, I'd be really happy with that as well. Let me know what you think about Joffy in the comment section below. Would some of you keep hold of him? Another player that I want to look at as well when it comes to the Leeds news is Matio Joseph. Now, what do you do with Matio? Now, as you guys know, I've always been a big supporter of Matio Joseph. I think there's a real player in there. I think there is someone who can really acclimatise to the top level. He's only a young lad, only a young boy. It's his first season. He's had a lot of pressure on him. Bit rash at points, 100%. And I think a loan move would do him a world of good. Maybe a top championship side, but what would you guys do with Matio? I think that'd be a good option for him. A top championship side, who knows? Maybe for George Hurst is to leave Ipswich, maybe Matio could just fill in there. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Gellart might leave as well. He's probably going to leave, but could someone like Matio Joseph head there? It feels like he'd fit that Ipswich scouting network as well. And a nice move under McKenna. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? But yeah, everyone, it's a day of which I'm still buzzing. I'm still very, very happy. Let me know what you think in the comment section below with everything. What did you think of Farke's press conference? I think, as I've mentioned, better players in and around his side, and I'm really keen to see how this goes. We mentioned on the stream the other day that you got to keep him on, not a short leash as such, but it's, you know, if you do go up to the Premier League, they've got, and will they do this? But you've got to give him a chance, in my opinion. We said this on the stream the other day. I know they were talking about sacking him, but we mentioned that you've got to give him a chance. You've got to give him an opportunity. And I've mentioned all season the sort of short leash thing, but you can't really, can you? You've effectively got to give him that full season. You've got to give him the full season, and that sounds mental. And I don't think if the worst comes to it, I think his head's going to be on the chopping block. But it is very much like, if you give him a squad, you fund 150, 180 million into that squad. How can you then turn round and get rid of him when they're his players? So the 49ers have got to back him. Now, that's got to be how it is. Whether you agree with it, you disagree with it, I think there's got to be an understanding that Farke effectively has to be back now. He has to be backed, because if they don't do that, and they've not made a decision at the start of the season after leaking this stuff, which it feels like it's evidently happened, hasn't it? There's one exclusive out there, and he's done quite well when it's come to the Niners before. It feels like with that, for like the 49ers almost reputation, and obviously for Daniel Farke, who, you know, they've mentioned him having a close bond, him and Prague. Pete Lowi apparently loves him as well. You feel that we'll go out there, let's be positive, let's go out there and back him, back into the hill. Let's see what happens. And I'm kind of just in that mode right now of, yeah, you know, I have to say, you know, 6 or 7 games ago when we were really, really struggling, I said on stream that if he limps over the line, then there's an argument you can get rid of him. There's an argument you can get rid of him, because then, and I probably would have come out and said that, and I said, look, you've got to get rid of him, because we've limped over the line with that squad. I know it's promotion, but it's worrisome with the fixtures that we had left, the easiest fixtures of the 3, I thought. However, he's done it. He's won 4 games on the bounce, which no Leeds United manager has done when the backs have been up against the wall. It's that grey area. It's that meritocracy. And he deserves it. He deserves it. And this is why the other day on the stream I said you've got to start the season with him. But I think that they might have to get to the end point with him as well. You've just got to back him. And then this is something I have to say that I never considered. Worst case scenario, you come down with Daniel Farke. Worst case scenario. Is that the worst thing? Is that the worst thing? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, everybody. Really interested to hear your thoughts on this one. And I'll see you on the other side. See you in a bit.